Dragon Age Origins theme song. Did I just get cut off at the end of the review again? Sorry about that, boss. I think I got a little carried away with the editing last time. Figures. Welcome to Werezilla's Retrospective. I'm your host, Werezilla. BioWare has become famous for its writing, ranging from its characters to its story in their game franchises, including the Dragon Age series. When BioWare threw their hats into the fantasy genre, they gave gamers a rich world with many memorable characters. The first game gave us a grand adventure across the Kingdom of Ferelden with 6 different backstories to choose from, while the second game focused on the city-state of Kirkwall's champion and their attempts to keep order in a city full of assholes. Like any good fantasy setting, the Dragon Age continues beyond the lore of its initial games. Being a game, after all, it takes advantage of this idea by expanding on the Dragon Age setting through DLC. The first game getting its own expansion pack, as well as quite a few other quests for the main game. Dragon Age 2, it didn't have an expansion pack or as many DLC quests, but it did have a few that were a change of pace for the game. One of the DLCs, Mark of the Assassin, was even advertised along with a web series for its key character. Why they chose this one and not the Exiled Prince, which actually has an effect on the plot, or Legacy, which developed Hawke's family past, not to mention actually had a connection to the previous game, is beyond me. We open with a Qunari mage escaping a prison the episode proclaims belongs to the Chantry, the main religion of Thedas, which the Qunari are not native to. I'll explain why this is wrong a little later. Meanwhile, in Kirkwall, an elf by the name of... well, okay, it's not technically her name, but rather her title, as is the case with all who follow the Qunari way of life, the Qun. Either way, she has her title of Talus restored so she can hunt down the Qunari mage. She goes after a criminal who also escaped the prison, but it turns out a Templar by the name of Karn had the same idea.
Tell me what he said. I command you in the name of the Chantry.
Chantry? That church pulls your strings like a puppet, doesn't it, Templar?
And your Qunari are half a step above Darkspawn.
Wow, they are both racist assholes. I'm so glad they are going to be the protagonists of this series. Talus and Karn both end up at an elf camp the Qunari mage attacked, and learn that not only did he steal a Dalish mask, but the tribe's leader was taken by Templars months before. Again, I'll get into what's wrong with that in a bit. They are joined by the tribe's leader's apprentice, Joshmel, whose fiancée was kidnapped by the Qunari mage. But then he reveals that he can use magic.
Maker's blood. I have the gift. The curse, you mean?
My uncle trained me. I know healing spells.
Apostate!
Yeah, this is a problem that's worthy of Werezilla's rebuttal, but suffice to say, Karn has no right to attack Joshmel since he doesn't even believe in the same religion as the Templars. Same with the kidnapped tribe leader and the Qunari mage. Not to mention forcibly taking the leader of a tribe of elves will cause much more harm than good. Yeah, mages are a greater risk of getting possessed by demons in this series, but to assume one is evil just because they have magic makes people like Karn here look like a complete zealot.
When I left Kirkwall, I knew there was no going back.
Oh, you're from Kirkwall, the city that hates magic more than any other in all of Thedas. That explains it. You are a zealot. Great. So Talus proves Joshmel's usefulness by throwing a knife into his chest just so he can show off his healing spells. So after a bit of traveling, as well as a bit where Talus and Karn insult Joshmel's idealist hope that he'll find his fiancée, why should I care about these two again? And why isn't Joshmel the protagonist? They eventually confront the Qunari mage and his followers in a cave preparing for a blood sacrifice. Once again, only Joshmel cares about the victims and steps in to stop it. Talus and Karn do eventually join the battle, but the Qunari mage just collapses the cave entrance, trapping them inside. It's here where they are joined by a warrior named Nyreen, who, I'm not gonna lie, is rather blatantly based off of Zula from Conan the Destroyer. Oh, and Talus gets Nyreen to join up by paying her, with money she stole from Joshmel's tribe. So what exactly is the Qunari mage's goal, exactly?
He's pissed at the world. Raised as an animal, collared, used as a weapon. I'd destroy what's in front of me too.
Ah, he's one of those kind of villains. The ones that really aren't helping their case. So our heroes banter for a bit in a town tavern, only get ambushed by thugs. An attack that Talus and Karn are quick to blame on Joshamel. Okay, what is the series' problem with this guy? Or more specifically, Talus' actress Felicia Day, who just assumed we would dislike this character as much as her? If they want us to hate him, they need to give us actual reasons. But that turns out for nothing when Nyreen reveals it's actually Karn's fault the Qunari mage escaped in the first place.
That crazy mage got free because someone tried to butcher him on the sly. Him. I saw you go into his cell right before the escape.
The escape was my fault. But I wanted him dead. And I wished to the Maker I'd succeeded.
Why?
He killed my family.
And that is why people like you should not be allowed to be Templars. Also, executing prisoners without due process is just as abusive of one's power in Thedas as it is in the real world. Just thought I'd mention it. So the group reaches Sundermount, and apparently Talus and Karn have a thing for each other. Why? Didn't they hate each other like less than a second ago? And then Nyreen... Oh no.
I like to blow off a bit of steam too, just before battle. You up for it?
No. I'm betrothed to Fina. Have you not been listening?
You're gonna get torn up by a demon army soon enough. You've done it before, right?
No. Never.
Then get him in practice. For Fina's sake.
Oh, for fuck's sake! You know, just because a woman is doing it to a man, that doesn't make it okay. Fortunately, Talus stops Nyreen from raping Joshamel as the Qunari mage arrives for his ritual. Joshamel sneaks over to his fiancée, who then alerts the Qunari mage to the hero's presence.
Love, why did you warn them?
All I've ever been is the girl you were to marry. I wasn't special until Cerebus captured me. A little blood for a lot of power.
Yeah, I kinda saw that coming. So after a battle with the Qunari mage's minions, Talus destroys the ancient magical mask by throwing a knife into it. I kind of assumed the magical artifact was more durable than that, but whatever. She subdues the Qunari mage with an anti-magic collar, which again looks nothing like the ones used by the Qunari in the games, but a magical blast from him mortally wounds Karn. And Talus is all broken up about it. Again, since when did these two care about each other?
This has been an amusing respite. You serve your title well, Elf. Talus true.
Why? Why this? Why not just escape and live your life?
I had the means to do harm, so I took it. It was almost involuntary. How could I deny my function? Qunari made me this way, as they have made you.
You're right. No matter how hard we fight it, eventually we follow our true nature. You can't be faulted for that. And neither can I. This is for Karn.
Well, at least Talus has come to accept the fact that she's completely unlikable. So they bury Karn and the group parts ways more or less on good terms.
Your Qunari are going to be right peeved you not showing up with the mage. There's a smart move, just lay it all on the Templar.
No. I'll finish my mission my way.
Right, renegade.
No. That would be aggressive. Renegade is that other series they made. This web series doesn't have a real reason to exist. It doesn't tell us much about Talus, the DLC didn't already, and it doesn't even lead into the events of Mark of the Assassin. Felicia Day had a huge part in the writing of this series, And her love for her character shines through constantly. She's callous, has no regard for anyone around her, and yet she's always right, always on top of the situation. Karn is no better. Nairi was doing fine until that scene. Still, Josh Mel was alright, if his actor was a little off, being the only likable character, and not to mention the only one with an arc, finding his fiancée and ultimately growing the confidence to take over as his tribe's leader in the end. And yet, he's the one we're not supposed to like? Seriously, he was the one who went through the hero's journey arc, not Talus. Why wasn't he the main character? And the Qunari mage, sadly, is a very generic villain, though being played by Doug Jones, Abe Sapien from the Hellboy films, certainly caught me off guard. Now, if you've seen a fan film before, then you've seen this, because despite its slightly bigger budget than most of those, at the end of the day, this comes across as watching a LARPing session with special effects added in later. As such, I really don't have an issue with the effects and makeup designs for the Qunari. You can tell from the outset that Karn's armor isn't actually plate mail, and the mask is obviously a prop, but other than that, I didn't really have a problem with the magic effects or the other costumes. Though frankly, I wonder if it was worth it to make a 6-video series, since I can't say it has enough plot for that much time. Here's hoping that if there are other web series based on DLCs for the third Dragon Age game, maybe they'll be better.